Did you know the Apollo Theater has been a cornerstone of Harlem's entertainment scene since 1934? Welcome back to Theater History Thursdays. Today's topic is theater in the Harlem Renaissance. The Harlem Renaissance coincided with the Great Migration, when large numbers of black workers fled the Jim Crow Deep South for jobs in the North. We think of this neighborhood as a place where everything was happening, but it really was an anchor for a movement that both drew from and spread its influence across the US, the Caribbean, and the world. The movement goes by many names. No matter the name, this era saw an explosion of black music, theater, fashion, scholarship, and art. In particular, it opened the door for black theater artists to enter the broader public sphere. Actors, playwrights, authors, musicians, and even producers were bringing thought-provoking, innovative creations to the stage and breaking the color barrier in terms of audiences. In 1917, changed the minstrel show stereotype of what black theater could be, with actors playing complex, nuanced roles. In 1921, the musical Shuffle Along, written, performed, and produced by African Americans, introduced Broadway to jazz. It was so popular that within 3 years, 9 other African American shows appeared on Broadway, and white writers and composers rushed to produce their versions of black musical comedies. The Ethiopian Art Theater brought the first non-musical play by an African American to Broadway in 1923 for a short run. In 1925, Appearances by Garland Anderson was the first full-length play by a black writer produced on Broadway, running for 3 weeks. The Crisis magazine, founded by W.E.B. Du Bois, was the literary arm of the NAACP, and it published poetry, fiction, and essays. Its annual playwriting contest became an essential outlet for many of those who would emerge as the leaders of theater during the Harlem Renaissance. Du Bois' Krigwa Players, founded in 1925, was dedicated to producing plays by and for African Americans, reflecting the realities of black life. It became a crucial performance outlet for black playwrights whose works were first featured in The Crisis. Eulalie Spence, an influential member of the Krigwa Players and one of the few to have specifically been trained in dramatic structure, wrote at least 14 scripts in the 1920s and 30s. Unlike her peers, she believed that plays should not have a political agenda. Several of her works received prizes from The Crisis and Opportunity magazines. Her comedy, Fool's Errand, was published by Samuel French. Plays by Zora Neale Hurston, a groundbreaking writer and anthropologist, mostly depicted African American life in the South. Colorstruck and Spunk introduced a more authentic portrayal of black life, including the dialects, for which she was criticized by her peers. Hurston was ignored for many years, but her works are now recognized as some of the most influential of the 20th century. One of the greatest contributors to the Harlem Renaissance was Langston Hughes. Arriving in Harlem in 1921, already a published poet, his writing portrayed the lives of working class full of struggle, joy, laughter, and music. He emphasized a new pride of African American identity and its diverse culture. Hughes' first produced play, Mulatto, opened on Broadway in 1935, and it was an immediate hit, running for 11 months. He also helped to create theater companies in New York, Los Angeles, and Chicago. Just as theater makers from the Harlem Renaissance sought to challenge existing narratives and give voice to the complexities of black life, New Perspectives fosters an environment where underrepresented voices can thrive. We have showcased plays by Zora Neale Hurston and Eulalie Spence in On Her Shoulders program, which reclaims women who wrote plays from the past. By connecting these works with modern-day efforts, New Perspective carries forward the Harlem Renaissance legacy of reshaping cultural discourse and promoting authentic, diverse voices in the arts. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for part 2 of Harlem Renaissance Theater, when we'll talk about movement's impact outside NYC.